Oh, hello there. I'm off camping again. This time I'm in a place called Kingsdown, which is in between Deal and Dover in Kent. It's I only live about an hour and a quarter away from here. I live in Kent, so this was quite a nice little drive down. It's been very, very windy over the last few days. It's died down a bit, but there's still quite heavy gusts. So what I've done, I've not used the Ribble bungalow that I used in Yorkshire the other week. I've set up another tent. It's got more room, especially if I need to go inside if it rains or it gets very cold in the evening. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to finish a couple of bits of setting up, get a brew on, and then I'll show you around this tent. Well, the dimensions of the Eurohike Avon 3 is 350 centimetres long, total that is, by 240 centimetres wide. As I said earlier, the inner compartment is 210 by 210 centimetres, and I think it's round about 130 high. I looked up this model just out of interest the other night. Said I've had it about 18 months, well maybe 2 years, and it's out of stock everywhere, so I don't think it's available anymore. But the reason I'm bringing it up is they've brought out a new model of this, and it's basically the Eurohike Avon 3 DLX, but it has sort of the lights out version. It's nightfall or something like that. I will warn you, it's just the inner tent that has that. Now it's £90 at Millets with 15% off, so it's at £80.75 or something like that, which is not bad at all. And I think the lights out for me is only really to keep the sun out in the summer, to keep the heat out. To be honest, if I wake up and it's light, I just throw something over my head and go back to sleep, or I get up. Simple as that. But obviously that will keep the inner cooler. But then obviously this area inside there would still get from the outside to the inner tent could still get very, very hot. But you know, it's maybe worth looking at. It's exactly the same dimensions, exactly the same tent, other than this sort of nightfall or lights out feature. A couple of features I actually forgot about, or I should have mentioned earlier, was I mentioned about if I go down, you'll probably be able to see right at the back, you've got the back air vent, and you've got two at the front, one either side. So if you've certainly got a bit of airflow going through. There is two windows in the front, one each side, and they've got a privacy cover, so you can sort of, which attaches by toggles. Also in the bedroom compartment you do have a couple of storage compartments, you know, to slot your phone in and whatever. I just didn't want to leave them out, but there you go. Well, there's the tent all secured with the door shut up, and I'm just going to go for a brisk walk down to the beach. I'm actually on a cliff edge here, and it's all separating me from the cliff edge is that hedgerow, and you may be out in the background, may be able to hear the waves crashing in if the wind's not interfering too much. Anyway, I'll see you when I'm down at the beach. Well, there's a view from up the hill a little bit, looking out to sea. I'm just pitched around the back of that large tree area that you can see in the centre of the screen. Let's have a little pan around. Right, now for the walk down to the beach. Well, I've just had a nice long walk along the beach. Hardly anyone about, a couple of dog walkers. I'm now actually up on the cliff top, which is part of the walk I'll be doing tomorrow. But I just wanted to sort of see where the start was, so I knew where I'm going. If you look right along the beach there, there's just past the tree line, there's a pub. I think that's the Zetland Arms. And in the distance there's a pier, that's Deal Pier. And much further on, right on the tip of the land, that's Ramsgate. So if I just pan round, that's the campsite I'm staying at. They do have a back gate to actually come down the cliffside, but unfortunately they got it locked due to the COVID. So I had a 10-minute walk round. I had to walk out the top of the camp and round via a completely public footpath, then down the side of the cliff. But it's no worries. Well, I can certainly see why they say no cycling. It's just a walking path. Basically, it's a lot of it's a cliff edge, an uneven path. It's fine to walk, but if you were cycling at speed, God knows what could happen to you. Well, in the distance you can see a building on the hill there with there's possibly still, you can see the cars at the side of it. That's actually a golf club. I walked the other way down the beach and then back and up the hill past that club by about probably half a mile or so, and then back. So I've been out about an hour and a half, hour and 3/4. So that'll do me for today. I mean, most of my walking's tomorrow. That was just a little scouting mission. So I'm now back at the site. I'm going to get back to my pitch, do myself a brew, and then start contemplating what I'm going to have for tea. Well, I've finally got myself a brew made. Sun's come out. It's going right across the top of my tent and halfway across the field, which suits me, to be honest. I prefer to be in the shade. At the moment the wind's dropped, so it's a bit milder, so I'm quite pleased about that. Obviously later it's going to get quite a bit colder, so I should be getting a fire going. That'll be after tea. I've got steak, can't think what I've got. Steak, sausage and mashed potato this evening, so do that on that Bridge Monkey griller. So I'll get back to you a bit later. Oh well, this steak and the sausages are coming on very nicely now, so I'll get some water on the boil. For my mashed potato, didn't fancy the mushrooms in the end, so just going with meat and potatoes tonight. Oh well, ready to plate up now. Nash is not looking great, but he'll be okay. Down there. Well, I've just washed up after my camping supper and I'm just taking a little walk to walk it off. Just across the campsite fields. But this is what I wanted to show you. I'll pan to the left here. So there is your English Channel. I think further out on the left hand side you can see probably a tanker. There's no ferries at the moment. There's normally quite a few ferries in the channel. But The landmass right in the different distance, I don't know how well it's coming out, that is actually France. What I may do when it gets dark, I may come back and see what I can get, because obviously the lights will be going on along the coast there. You've got St Margarets just up the road to the right, and that is actually the shortest point across the channel. That's my fire going now. It's not quite dark yet, but it will be within 20 minutes, so I just wanted to get it made up and fired up, and it is getting quite chilly already, so I'm sitting quite close to it. I've had to move it quite a distance from my tent this time. The wind keeps changing direction, so I'm sort of sitting quite away, and I'm having to sit uphill because I tried sitting by my tent and it's on a slope, so I was more or less falling off my chair. So well, that's no problem, as long as I keep warm. I'm going to crack open a beer and I'll catch up with you a bit later. Well, it's getting dark now. Fire's raging away. I'm keeping nice and warm in front of it, and I'm having a beer. I did have some sounds on, but I've switched them off. I'd rather just listen to the fire crackling, and I can hear the waves rolling in on the beach just beyond the bush. So I'd rather nature's sounds than artificial sounds. So once the fire dies down and I've had a couple of beers, I'm gonna head off to my pit, maybe read a bit, and then get to sleep. Got a walk planned tomorrow and a few places of interest. Going to visit St Margarets. I've been to these places before, but I've never sort of documented them. St Margarets I've flown over in my drone a few years ago and set it to music, so hopefully it's a nice day and I can have a nice walk. So with that, I'll say good night to you, and I'll see you in the morning. Good night.